What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you can probably see on the screen, the champion from Demacia I'm covering today is Vayne. Last week we covered Shyvana, this week is Vayne. So what I'm going to do is what I always do, I go through the bio, I go through the story, I review her skins, I go through her login theme and also her spotlight and anything else of interest as well. Now her spotlight is I think 9 or 10 years old. But because there's not much else for me to go through, we're going to go through it. We're going to go through her spotlight. So, yeah, without further ado, let's start off with her bio. Let's go. So, Vayne, I don't kill creatures like you because it's the right thing to do. Okay, I kill you because I enjoy it. Savage. Feeling the look as well, got some kind of, with the shades, kind of like a Blade vibe to it as well. Blade crossed with Batman, with the bats there. Anyways, let's move on to the bio. So, what's up there? That is the Night Hunter. Yeah, okay, Blade, feel you. Whoever that is, Shauna Vayne, is that right? Shauna Vayne is a deadly, remorseless monster hunter, okay, be like Van Helsing, who has pledged her life to finding and killing the demon who murdered her family. Okay, classic. That's the classic, isn't it? Armed with her wrist-mounted crossbows and a heart full of vengeance, Vayne is only truly happy when she's slaying practitioners or creations of the dark arts. As the only child to a wealthy Demacian couple, i.e. Bruce Wayne, Vayne enjoyed an upbringing of privilege. She spent most of her childhood indulged in solitary pursuits, reading, learning music, and avidly collecting the various insects found on their manor's grounds. Okay. Her parents had travelled across Runeterra in their youth, but settled in Demacia after Shauna's birth became more than any place. Because more than any place it found, Demacians looked out for one another. Sorry about that, a bit of a mental lapse there. Shortly after Vayne's 16th birthday, she returned home from a midsummer banquet, as you do, and saw something she would never forget. An unspeakably beautiful, horned woman stood before the bloodied corpses of her parents. Who could this be? Vayne screamed in agony and terror before disappearing. The demon looked down at the young girl and flashed her a terrible, lustful smile. So, because it says a lustful smile, I've got a feeling it's Evelyn. Anything to do with lust and murdering is Evelyn. Yeah, it starts off nice, and it ends the opposite. Vayne tried to brush the bloody hair out of her mother's eyes, but the haunting smile lingered in her mind, growing and consuming her. Even as she shakily smoothed her father's eyelids closed, her mouth still agape, frozen in his last horrific moments of confusion. The demon's smile seeped through her thoughts. It was a smile that would fill Shauna's... Is it Shauna? It is Shauna, isn't it? Shauna's veins with hatred for the rest of her days. Vayne tried to explain what happened, but no one truly believed her. The thought of a demon on the loose in the well-defended magic-averse kingdom of Demacia, of all places, was too far-fetched to consider. Vayne knew better. She knew from the demon's smile that Enchantress would strike again. Yes. Okay, I know who it is. Even Demacia's tall walls couldn't keep dark magic from creeping through the cracks. It may disguise itself with subtleties or keep to shadowed corners, but Vayne knew it was there, and she was done being afraid. Vayne had a heart full of hatred and enough coin to outfit a small army, but where would she go? No army dared follow. She needed to learn everything about dark magic, how to track it, how to stop it, how to kill those who practiced it. She needed a teacher. Okay, it ain't gonna be Garen, is it? Her parents had told her stories of iceborn warriors who fought against the Ice Witch in the north. For generations, they had defended themselves from her unknowable forces and dark minions. This venue would be where she would find her tutor. She evaded her appointed custodians and booked passage on the next ship to the Freyord. Okay. Shortly after arriving, Vayne set out in search of a monster hunter. She found one, okay, although not in the way she intended. Traversing a frozen ravine, Vayne was ensnared by a cleverly carved ice trap. After tumbling to the bottom of the jagged crystalline pit, Vayne stared up to see a ravenous ice troll, lips smacking with anticipation as he gazed upon his catch. His gigantic blue tongue fell limp as a spear whistled through the air. His ash pierced the troll's skull and planted itself deep in his brain. Poor giant. The giant toppled into the pit and Vayne rolled aside him just to escape being crushed. A sticky pool of drool and blood collected at her boots. Nice. Vayne's survivor was a grizzled, middle-aged woman named Frey. Okay, smash. She bandaged Vayne's wounds as they clung to the warmth of campfire that struggled to stay ablaze in the frigid canyon. Frey, if it's Frey, I think it is, told Vayne of her life's work spent fighting the Ice Witch's minions who had murdered her children. Okay. Vayne implored the woman to take her on as a student and teach her to track the dark creatures of the world, but the Freyaudian had no interest. Vayne stank of privilege and money, neither of which kept your teeth gritted or your blade sharp through the grueling perseverance of a fight. Vayne couldn't accept Frey's answer and challenged her to a duel. If she won, Frey would train her. If she lost, she'd offer herself as bait to the Ice Witch's minions so Frey could ambush them. Sounds like a bit of a win-win. Okay. Vayne had no reason to think she'd win. Her training amounted to a single afternoon of studying fencing before she wearied of trying to fight with one hand behind her back. Okay, a little bit like Fiora. But she refused to back down. To reward Vayne's mettle, Frey threw snow in Vayne's eyes and subsequently taught her the first rule of monster hunting: don't play fair. Frey saw determination in Vayne she couldn't help but respect. The girl had a long way to go as a fighter, but each time Vayne pushed her bruised body up from the dirted snow to continue the fight, Frey saw a little more of the relentless hunter the girl could become. Beaten in skill but never in spirit, Vayne beseeched Frey one last time. Both of the families were dead. Frey could spend the rest of her days tracking ice trolls until one of them carved her head in, or she could teach Vayne. Fair enough. Together they could kill twice as many monsters. Together they could save twice as many families from experiencing the pain that defined them both. And that's the thing, clearly they've got something in common. Frey saw the same hatred and loss in Vayne's eyes her own had burned with for years. Frey agreed to accompany Vayne back to Demacia. Together they made their journey south, heavily disguised Frey to elude Demacian border guards. Once back at Vayne's estate, the two spent years training. Despite the pegant of suitors who solicited Vayne's company, Sean had no interest in anything other than training with Frey. As a result, the two became incredibly close. Frey taught Vayne the fundamentals of dark magic, conjured beasts and foul spells. Vayne committed every word of Frey's teaching to heart, but found it slightly unnerving that Frey never explained how she came to know so many specifics of these malefic practices. Due to the kingdom's wishful soldiers and anti-magic trees, dark creatures were rare within Demacia's walls, so Frey and Vayne would venture into the broader forest at night to hunt. Vayne earned her first kill, a bloodthirsty creature who preyed on travelling merchants at the age of 18. Okay. So, soaked in the creature's... whatever that is. Verseria. Something... is that... I don't know. Something awoken within Vayne. Pleasure. Okay, he's turning a little bit into Evelyn here. The hot flush of vengeance and violence raced through her blood, and she relished in the sensation. Vayne and Frey spent several years hunting dark creatures, their respect for one another growing with every kill. One day Vayne realised that she loved Frey like a mother, but her emotions of familiar love were so tangled with pain and tainted by trauma. Vayne fought them as she would any beast out to hurt her. Okay, makes sense. Vayne and Frey travelled Valorian until travelling tales from the highlands caught their ear, whispering of a demonic horde creature of mesmerising beauty. Here we go. According to the stories, the demon had been busy. She'd formed a cult, designed to attract worshippers who would do her bidding. People would walk into the hills, never to be heard from again. It was said that the cult's high priest had a holy grounds near the cliffside, where they prepared the demons' sacrificial offerings. Vayne and Frey immediately set off on the hunt. As they journeyed into the hills by cover of night, Vayne found herself distracted. For the first time since the partnership began, she felt worried for Frey, worried she might lose her mother figure for a second time. Before she could confess her fear, no. One of the demon's priests lunged from the bush, swinging a mace into Frey's shoulder. Into Vayne's shoulder. Vayne was badly wounded. Frey had a brief moment of hesitation, but her eyes steeled with certainty as she apologised to her friend and transformed into a monstrous Freudian wolf. As Vayne watched in shock, Frey in her animalistic form tore the priest's tendons from the throat with a swift snap of her mighty jaws. With the priest's body laid astrewn at Vayne's feet, Frey retook her human form, yet her eyes betrayed the sacred animal within. She explained after the death of her family she had become a shaman, inviting the curse upon herself in order to gain the power to change shape and fight against the Ice Witch. The ritual that gave her the powers invoked dark magic, but she made the sacrifice to protect. Okay, interesting. I thought it was going to say that she was going to die, She wanted to say something, and then because she died, she never got a chance to say it, which is obviously the worst thing to do, but she hadn't died. Vayne put an arrow through... What? Vayne put an arrow through Frey's heart without allowing her another syllable. Whatever affection she had felt for Frey evaporated upon discovering her true nature. A tear formed in Frey's eyes as she collapsed, but Vayne didn't notice. Whatever warmth the two had shared died with Frey. There were still hours left before dawn, which meant hours left to continue the hunt. Vayne thought only of the demon, the kill that would be hers to savour, and all the kills to come. Runeterra's underworld would come to fear her, just as she had once feared them. For the first time since her parents' death, Vayne smiled. Whoa! You know what? That's probably one of the best bios I've read. I was not, as you can probably tell, I was not expecting that. So obviously she hates all these things that have killed her mother and father. But the person that helped her, that she also said she's beginning to have feelings for as a mother figure, she killed because that person turned into the very thing that she kind of opposes in like a general term. But Frey saved her. That don't make no sense. That makes no sense, but okay, so she's obviously gone off the cliff, hasn't she? Literally, and she's willing to kill anything that's a monster. Okay. Anyway, it's not good. That was a nice twist at the end, and I wasn't expecting that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to her skins, and then I'll move on to her logging theme. Let's go. So, yes, Vayne the Night Hunter, roll marksman, difficulty high. Shauna Vayne is a deadly and remorseless Demacian monster hunter. Yeah, she ain't lying. And definitely remorseless. I mean, a monster helped to become who she was, and she actually still killed her. Who has dedicated her life to finding and destroying the demon that murdered her family. Which I think is Evelyn. So, let's skip over the abilities and go with her skins. So she has quite a few here. First one, yeah, this first one's nice. Reminds me a little bit of Batman in terms of her bio as well, and the look with the bats behind her, and also Blade. But then again, it isn't Blade, because Blade's more like Frey. What's she called? Frey, I think she was called. The person that Vayne killed, because Blade is a vampire, but also kills vampires as well. But that fact of being a vampire makes him stronger, if you know what I mean. Anyways, yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'm liking the base skin as well. Feeling the shades. Yeah, cool. So, Vindicator Vayne. Okay. Nice. Kind of like a... yeah, it's kind of like this one. There's kind of a similar theme with the bats in the background as well. Yeah, is it better? Maybe. I still prefer the original one, but you can't complain when you've got a little bit of leather rocking on there as well. And that's cool. I like that, looking a little bit like Wolverine there. Nice. So, Aristocrat Vayne. That's terrible. That's terrible. That belongs like in, that's maybe like Piltover. Zarnor Piltover. That's where that needs to go. Yeah, that's just shocking. Dragon Slayer Vayne. Okay, cool. I hesitate a little bit because I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that theme. But I like it though. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the dragon, but yeah, giving me kind of like a bit of Mortal Kombat vibes there as well, but okay. Heartseeker, yeah, I like the Heartseeker theme. Like I said before, there was a Heartseeker Fiora, Heartseeker Lucian, and was there a Heartseeker Shyvana, or was it the one before? There was someone else as well, but this Heartseeker vibe, oh Fiora, I might have already said Fiora. Anyways, yeah, I'm feeling this Heartseeker vibe. You've obviously got Mundo there. Mundo there's dead, and she's obviously, this is the thing, because he's a monster. The poor guy has come with some flowers to give her, and he's given her a nice card, Mundo, and then love maybe. She's obviously been kind enough to read it, but after she's killed him, because he's a monster. Hard times, Mundo, hard times. I like her look there as well. So SKT T1 Vayne. So I've seen this one before in a couple of other reviews I've done. Is this Jax? I think this is Jax. That is Zed. There is Vayne. Who is that? I'm not quite sure. No, it's not Lee Sin, is it? Or is it? I don't know. I'm not quite sure who these are as well. But yeah, okay. That's nice. It's nice. Okay. Arclight Vayne. Right. So now this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Now we're getting there. This one's popping. Yeah, that looks godly. That looks godly. Look at the actual crossbow on her arm. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Soul Stealer. Now we're getting there. Now we're picking up. Soul Stealer. Jeez. So obviously that's a tomb there, and she's stealing the soul. Okay, we pick it up. Pro and I look. Woo! And you know I like Project. Everything, and I mean everything about Project I like. Yeah, that's so good. There's a one from Aurelia. Aurelia's got a Project one that is, I think, probably one of the best skins that I've reviewed so far. I'm not saying something, but this one comes close. I like how she's kind of like skating or gliding on the floor as well. Kind of give me a little bit of Alita Battle Angel vibes as well. Loving the white hair with the Project theme. And also the Sabs theme just works as well. Anyways, yeah, that's good. Firecracker Vayne. That's cool. Loving the specs as well. Loving the shades and the little cute piglets as well. I'm not quite sure who that is in the background trying to steal one, or maybe some fireworks. Yeah, that's good as well. And then we have the Prestige Edition. I actually prefer the original to the Prestige, if I'm being honest with you. But okay, both of them are cool. Spirit Blossom. Yeah, okay. Once again, good. 4 or 5 in a row now that I like. If I was ranking skins, A-class skins, if not S-class skins, that's another one. That's another, I'd probably say A-class skin. That's tight as well. And then FPX Vayne, which is probably another one from a championship team. Yeah, I like that one as well. Let me compare that one with the SKT one. Yeah, I think if I was just to pick out of them two, they look like Power Rangers though, don't they? They look like Power Rangers, but I actually prefer the SKT one. That looks more. Each champion looks unique, but they've got a very similar theme, but each one looks unique. While as opposed to the FPX one, they all look too similar for me. I like the look, but they all look too similar. So for that reason, I choose SKT over that one. But anyways, let me go back to the beginning and pick my favourite one. Oh my diddy. Okay, so some of them are good. This one, the original one's good. This one's nice as well. I like the Heartseeker one. That's probably the funniest one as well, Paul Mundo. But, if I had to pick one, this is close. This is really close. But it'd have to. It's gonna have to be. Why am I taking so long to pick? These 4 are amazing. Arclight, Soul Stealer, Project and Firecracker. And I'm not quite sure which one I prefer. Okay. Do you know what? It's actually going to be Firecracker. That is my favourite one. Then it's Project. Oh, so good. So good. Then it's Project, and then it's Soul Stealer. And then in 4th place is Arclight. But yeah, Firecracker. Yeah, that's my favourite one. So that is my review of the skins, and possibly some of the best skins I've seen so far. You know, when I go through Champions, there might be 1 or 2 skins in the available skins they've got that I really like. There's at least 4 there that that are really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to her login theme, which I think actually is around this Firecracker theme, I think. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to move on to the story, and then I'm going to finish off with her ridiculously old spotlight. Let's go. Look at the pigs. Okay. Right, what a great login theme that was. Let me just turn the sound off and just play it again. It's got to have some of the best animation I've seen. The animation in this is so nice. So let's start off with the pigs. Every single pig is unique. You got the one at the top dancing the way, which is so funny. The one next to it is obviously watching the fireworks show, which the animation on that is so cool as well. This pig here looks funny at the bottom right. You got this one here dancing away, and you got a shy one in the bottom corner. But the attention to detail on the animation, even though it's like maybe like a 10 or 15 second loop, is really nice. The colours in the background are really good. And once again, this is my favourite skin, like I mentioned before. And I'm glad I chose this skin. This is definitely the right decision for various reasons. I mean, look how good Vayne looks there. Let's not get too fixated on it. But I mean, Wow. So, yeah, and also, let's not forget the most important thing, the music. The music was really cool as well. Kind of giving me like Disney vibes to it, like Mulan Disney vibes. Obviously, the theme is Oriental since it's the lunar login theme with the lunar skin as well. But yeah, that was really good. And every now and then I just kept catching some of the animations from the pigs and it just makes me just chuckle. Especially this one here. That's so good. So anyways, what I'm going to do now is I am going to move on to the story. Let's go. Right, so the story for Vayne is called Monsters, which is kind of appropriate because she kills monsters, basically. Even ones that are basically her best friend. So, Vayne had one arrow left in her wrist bolt launcher. She was bleeding from 3 different wounds. The previously human beast she'd spent all night hunting had just knocked her to the ground, and it was about to bite the head off her shoulders. Things were going better than expected. Slime dripped from the shapeshifter's maw as it shrieked in anticipation of its kill. Scanning the darkness with her Nightseeker goggles, Vayne found neither weapon nor cover nearby. She tracked the beast to its open patch of meadow specifically so it could take cover behind the elder woods of Demacia, but that decision left her exposed as well, which was fine by her. There's no fun in an easy kill, after all. The beast grabbed Vayne by the shoulder, and its mandibles opening to reveal rows upon rows of jagged teeth. Nice. If just jaws didn't kill her, its whatever that is, fetid breath would certainly finish the job. Vayne repeatedly reviewed her options. She could try to dodge the beast's bite, but that would be a short-term solution at the very best. She could kick the creature in its absurd number of teeth and attempt to land her last wrist bolt in its buckling forehead, but she couldn't trust her arrow would find its mark through its gashing forest of fangs. Or she could try something flashy. Where have I gone now? Lost myself. Flashy, violent and slightly stupid. Vayne chose, of course, the latter. She shoved her entire arm into the gaping mouth. The creature's razor-sharp teeth ripped strips of skin from her knuckles and arm, but Vayne smiled. She had the beast right where she wanted it. She felt its jaw clench, ready to bite and rip her limb off. She didn't give it a chance. Vayne twisted her arm, dragging her wrist bolt launcher across the inside of the creature's gob until the silver tip of the final arrow pointed directly at the roof of the beast. Right, smart. With the flick of her wrist, the bolt tore through the monster's skull, shredding its brain. Right, smart. The shrieking stopped as suddenly as it started, the creature's body limp as it collapsed upon the grassy soil. Vayne crawled out from under it and attempted to remove her arm from its skull without cutting herself more than she'd already had, only to find that her fist was stuck inside the creature's head. She could either keep trying to pull her hand through the shapeshifter's jagged mouth and probably lose a finger or 2 in the process, or she could dig her arm in further to punch through the top of its head and snap its jaw like a wishbone. As always, Vayne chose the latter. Nice, you can imagine it, can't you? The hard part wasn't killing the damn thing, the hard part was carrying it back to its bride, widow. The widow Selena was beautiful beyond imagining, with hair that caught the sunlight even in the darkest of her firelit cabin. The deep scratches on her face and even the tears that streamed down her cheeks did nothing to diminish her beauty. Vayne laid the carcass at the woman's feet as gingerly as she could. Its flesh was monstrously transformed and wrecked with wounds both self-inflicted and non-self-inflicted. It looked more like a collection of limbs and meat than a person. Was it quick? The widow asked through sobs. It had not been quick. Vayne had tracked the challenging to its den for the forest outside eastern Demacia. She managed to interrupt its mid-transformation. Its eye had multiplied and expanded. Its mouth had grown mandibles. Its left arm had formed into a razor-sharp pincer, and it was angry. Vayne flicked a glob of blade off her wrist and clinging remnants from when she'd pinched through the creature's skull. Vayne said, "Oh, my love," Selena said, dropping to her knees and wrapping her arms around the mutilated body. "What could have caused such a tragedy?" Vayne kneeled beside the couple as the widow brought what was left of the man's head to her breast, even not noticing or caring as his blood smeared her dress. Some people transform themselves into beasts, some are transformed against their will, Vayne said. She picked up the bulging hand of the corpse, casually examining it. He belonged to the second group. The widow's eyes went with a fury. I think. Someone did this to him. Who would? Why would? The widow collapsed onto the body in tears, unable to find words. Sometimes therein shapeshifters want a companion. Is that right? Sometimes they're just savage. They lash out and bite someone out of confusion or anger. Others I've met just get bored. They think it's fun, Vayne said, patting the woman's head. But some just need to eat. The widow looked up, sniffing away tears. I don't understand. Vayne gave the widow a pitying smile. They want to eat somebody, but sometimes that somebody gets away, and the thing that tried to eat them accidentally passes on its phage. Then they end up turning too. Really? The widow glared at Vayne. The wristbot launcher on Vayne's arm clicked as she brushed the woman's hair out of her tear-filled eyes. The last Theron I killed told me his victims tasted better if they loved him. Which is similar to Evelyn. We know that, don't we? Something about the juicy flavour they took on when they blushed. Can't even imagine how they must taste while on honeymoon. They mused. The widow stopped crying. Her eyes grew hard. He did love you, you know, said Vayne. The widow tried to stand, but Vayne gripped a fistful of the woman's hair and pulled tight. He must have been shocked after you bit him. People are unpredictable when they're scared. Ooh, and there's nothing more frightening than being betrayed by someone you love. Vayne flicked her wrist, cocking the wristball launcher on her forearm. So, who turned you? The woman stared back with hatred, her eyes slowly darkening to a deep red. Nobody, she said in a voice like knives scraping across rock. I am of my own design. Vayne smiled. How did you know? The widow asked, sliding her hand behind her back. Bite marks on the front of his neck rather than the back, combined with the lack of wounds anywhere else on his body, told me he was attacked by someone he trusted. Go ahead, try it. This is good. The widow paused. Try what? The pincer you're forming behind your back. Slash me. Let's see if you can cut my hand off before I put a bolt through your forehead, said Vayne. The widow retracted her pincer from behind her back, crestfallen. The game was up. Why, she asked. Why what? Vayne blankly replied. Why not just walk in and kill me? Why the whole presentation? Vayne smiled, a sly, hateful grin. Because I wanted to be sure I was right. Because I wanted you to feel the panic and the fear he felt. But mainly, Vayne tightened her wrist with a metallic twang. A 6-inch bolt of cold silver pierced the challenging's brain. The widow's eyes rolled back into her head. She collapsed to the floor like a bag of stones. Because it's fun. So do you know what? This story, Monsters, and also her bio, if I combine the two, best so far. Best so far. Nice twist in the end of her bio, plus obviously finding out her motivations and her training in her bio. And this was a nice twist as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be finishing off with her spotlight. Let's go. I need to put sound on. Duh.
To the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Vayne, the Night Hunter.
Okay.
Vayne is a ranged DPS assassin. She's big on mobility and surprise, pinning down single targets and severely weakening them before they can retaliate. Vayne's passive is Night Hunter. When running toward an enemy champion, she gains bonus movement speed. Note that this bonus only works if she can actually see the enemy she's hunting.
Cool.
Tumble causes Vayne to roll toward your mouse cursor when you activate the ability. Immediately upon tumbling, Vayne's next attack will deal significant bonus damage. Tumble also resets Vayne's auto attack timer, allowing you to hit a target, tumble, and quickly hit him again. With Silver Bolts, Vayne's third consecutive attack and/or ability on an enemy will deal significant bonus true damage. Note that hitting an alternate target will start the combo over on the new foe. Condemn damages and knocks back a single enemy. If the target is knocked into a wall, he gets stunned and takes bonus damage.
A little bit like Poppy.
Note that this spell applies 1 tick of silver bolts. Vayne's ultimate is Final Hour, which buffs her for a few seconds. While activated, Vayne gains bonus attack damage, Tumble will cause Vayne to stealth for a short time, and the bonus movement speed from Night Hunter is greatly increased.
Wait, you got some legs on
Early aggression is extremely powerful for Vayne. Sporting his new Ninja Rame skin, I get a gank from my jungler. I push in with Tumble, saving Condemn, until Katarina will be pushed into a wall. Together we kill her before she's able to recover. Vayne's harass game is very strong. If you're in range for one attack, you should shoot, tumble, attack again, and then chase for the third hit to trigger silver bolts. This damage is pretty much guaranteed, since Night Hunter should allow you to catch anyone. This damage will often catch opponents by surprise. Though I'm low on mana, I press into Katarina, using the shoot, tumble, shoot combo. I have to flash away from the turret to keep me from dying though. For those who are wondering why Katarina didn't use her ultimate, she had used it just before this clip. That's why I was at half health. Because of your powerful early game, you can often push your opponents out of experience range. Here I tumble behind Katarina's minions and stay there so she can't gain any gold or experience. It's important to realize that you can't always do this at level 1, but at this stage I can fight Katarina and her minions and come out ahead.
It's fun how old it looks.
We get into a team fight in the river. I push back Udyr with Condemn, and after tumbling away from Katarina, I switch my focus to Jarvan. Safely attacking from the brush, I take him down with Tumble and Sheen. After he falls, I switch to Udyr. I position myself with Tumble and blast him into the wall with Condemn, serving up an easy kill as I follow with Tumble. It's almost impossible to chase down Vayne 1v1. Singed tries to attack me, but I simply tumble out of range every time, finally using Condemn when I feel threatened. Condemn doesn't always have to hit a wall to ensure a kill. Here I keep running toward Udyr, knocking him back away from his turret with Condemn, once Remus's taunt ends. Vayne's best fights are 1v1, especially once you have Trinity Force. Singed comes at me with nowhere to run, so I turn and fight. Tumble and Condemn keep me safe for the first half of the fight, until Jarvan shows up. He tries to knock me up with Demacian Standard and Dragon Strike, but I tumble out of the way just in time, landing the kill onto Singed. As Jarvan jumps onto me with Cataclysm, I tumble aside and push him back with Condemn, also dealing massive damage with silver bolts. Right as he tries to kill me with Dragon Strike, I tumble to the side, hitting him another 3 times, taking silver bolts and picking up 2 kills by myself.
I thought she was dead then.
Somewhere in here is a joke involving the Matrix, Trinity, and dodging bullets.
Yeah.
I leave it to you.
Yeah. It's a good point, actually.
Vayne is great at cleaning up low health enemies because she deals exceptional burst. I find Udyr, knocking him down with attack, tumble.
Look at that comment there from Jarvan. Yeah, that tumble is crazy for manual dodging.
Attack, triggering silver bolts. I jump onto Katarina, hitting her with attack, tumble, attack, Condemn, which is the fastest way Vayne has to trigger silver bolts. As a team fight breaks out, I always want to isolate one target. Here Udyr chases me around, but barely hits me more than twice. I make the mistake of not hitting him into the wall when I had the chance, but I'm still able to deal enough damage to kill him before his team arrives. As the fight continues, I push on to Singed, destroying him with just basic attacks, tumble, and silver bolts. A team fight starts near the enemy base. I push Katarina into the wall with Condemn to stun her, switching focus to Alistar since the true damage from silver bolts and lizard buff will cut through his ultimate. Again I isolate myself from the rest of the fight, taking on Singed 1v1. As before, he's an easy kill, while my team picks up Katarina, since Alistar and Singed are unable to support her. I'm going to show her early laning while detailing the build I use on Vayne. For runes, I take armor penetration marks, attack speed seals, flat magic resist glyphs, and armor penetration quintessences. This setup allows me a lot of presence in lane, increasing my damage and helping defend against mages, while giving me the tools to scale into late game as well. My masteries are 2109 with Ghost and Flash. Most importantly, I take attack speed and magic penetration in offense. I max Tumble right away, with a point in silver bolts at level 4, and maxing Condemn immediately after. For items, I open with Doran's Blade. I rush into Sheen as soon as possible, taking Ionian Boots of Lucidity after. From there, I rush up the Trinity Force and follow up with Madrid's Blood Razor.
Trinity Force for
At
Trinity.
this point, I have tons of damage. Trinity Force synergizes with Tumble, and Madrid's Blood Razor combines well with Silver Bolts. Afterwards, I start building durability, with Banshee's Veil and Atma's Impaler. Finally, I build Last Whisper and Elixirs to scale my damage into late game. Thanks for tuning in to the Vayne Champion Spotlight.
Okay.
Please subscribe to the Riot Games YouTube channel and leave us a comment below on how you'd like to see this video series improved.
So yeah, what did I tell you? That was old. Look how old this is. Look how old this is. But it was still very informative for someone like me that doesn't know anything about Vayne. I'm sure, like I've mentioned on previous quite old spotlights that I reviewed, no doubt they've been revised, but I'm presuming the gist of the abilities stay the same. While I've paused it here, I'm actually going to watch this one more time. This part here is mad.
F with Demacian Standard and Dragon Strike, but I tumble out of the way just in time, landing the kill onto Singed.
Right, at this point...
As Jarvan jumps onto me with Cataclysm.
I'm sorry, at that point, okay, she's 4 levels above him, but he's got her with Cataclysm, and she's almost dead, 10% of her life left. How the hell does she survive this?
I tumble aside and push him back with Condemn, also dealing massive damage with Silver Bolts. Right as he tries to kill me with Dragon Strike, I tumble to the side, hitting him another 3 times, taking Silver Bolts and picking...
That is so funny. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here today, guys, on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to the Spotlight, also her really good login theme, and her bio and her story, which were both very good as well. Oh, and also the review of the skins. If you did, feel free to let me know. Feel free to like, comment, or maybe also subscribe for more content like this. I go through a Demacian champion every single week. I think we've got 3, maybe 2 or 3 Demacian champions left to do. Then I'll be going for the Legends of Runeterra interactions, and then I'll be moving on to the next region to go through their champions. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.